Hey, it's Guard here, and Deb's behind the camera right now, so hopefully she'll join in with some of her thoughts. But today's video, we're going to talk about our inverter. So stand by. Okay, so we bought a Geo Pro. One of the really big selling features to it, believe it or not, was a very small item on it, and that was the inverter. It came with an installed 1,000 watt inverter, which is not a big inverter, but it's big enough for what we need. And the reason that was important to us is because we like to boondock. We like to go to places where there's no campgrounds, there's no power pedestal to plug in. If you have a camper and you go to a campground and you're plugged in all the time, an inverter doesn't really make that big of a difference to you. But for us, it does, because it allows us to use 110 volt items that we'd otherwise have to run a generator with. But now the big thing that helps us with the inverter is I've also updated the batteries. I don't have a flooded cell battery. One of the first things we did was we installed a Battleborn lithium 100 amp hour lithium battery. So that combined with the inverter will allow us to do a lot of things that we would have to otherwise be plugged into a campground to do. One of those is in the morning we wake up and we like a nice cup of coffee. We have a little, like, it's a Chulux coffee maker. It's like a little K-cup coffee maker, kind of like a Keurig, but it's smaller and it doesn't use very much power, so we can do that. We've also have a little small Ninja blender. It's really nice and compact, and it's a 700 watt blender, I think. So that's under 1,000 watts, so we can use that.
What do we do with it?
Oh, and that's our breakfast. So in the morning when we wake up for breakfast, we can have a nice hot cup of coffee and a nice smoothie. It's a good way to start the day. We start out with some ice and some milk and some fruits and protein powder and stuff. So with that inverter, we can run that. Not at the same time, you have to do stuff individually. So you can't put more than 1,000 watts. And we also can run we have an Instapot Mini that uses 700 watts also, so we can run our Instapot on battery. Well, a lot of people, they can't do that if they have flooded cell batteries because the battery capacity is not there. But like, for example, right now, I also have a Victron monitor, so I can see how much power I have available. Right now, I have, I'm using a little bit of power right now because I have some lights on, 1.58 amp hours, or amps, okay? And I'm gonna turn the inverter on, which is right down here. This is the remote on the FBS. You hear a little fan come on, the light turns green, and now you can see I'm using 3.2 amps. So it's using about 2 amps an hour. So if you have flooded cell batteries and you leave that on for a bit of time, it could use up your battery. So that's why a lot of people that are boondocking and a camper don't use an inverter. But for us, it's not a problem. Also, something else that I can run is behind my television. I'll make another video on this, but I have back here a dish satellite receiver. So that's plugged in. It takes 110 volts. So with that, me and Deb can watch Dish Satellite, which is pretty cool. When we're in Key West, dry camping there's nothing to watch on television. And it's nice to watch TV. Some people don't want to watch television when they go camping. That's perfectly fine, but I like to watch TV. I like to watch the news, I like to watch movies, I like to watch different things. So having the inverter enables us to watch television with the Dish Satellite. We can also make our coffee, we can do everything but run our microwave, and we can't run the air conditioner. But if you're wondering what the inverter looks like, I've taken the cover off it, but there it is, and it's behind that panel underneath the television, and you can see it's 1,000 watt pure sine wave. Pure sine wave's good. You don't want a modified sine wave if you're running sensitive electronics. So there's that. And if you do trip your inverter, you take this cover off, use a little square drive or Robertson drive, and there's a little arrow right here. There's a little button underneath here. You can reset it. So that's where the breaker is. Some people will drill a hole right here so they can just stick their finger in there and trip it if they trip it, which is not a bad idea. Otherwise, you got to take those screws off, and the more you do that, the more looser they get, and you have to do something different. But put bigger screws in or so. So that's the inverter, and you can see it's turned on right now. And we're using 3.18, and I'll turn that back off. And now it's 1.58. So it uses a bit of power. So that is a concern if you have flooded cell batteries. But like I said, we don't have the flooded cell batteries. And so with having an inverter and you use it limitedly, if you do have flooded cells, you can get by and you could maybe charge a phone or something. But sometimes you're better off using a USB plug and just charging off at 12 volts. But that's our inverter. It's really a nice feature. Hopefully one day I'm going to up my batteries. I'm going to go from 100 amp hours to hopefully 300 or 400 amp hours. I'm going to change out to a bigger inverter, at least a 2000, maybe a 3000 watt inverter. Hook it in where I can run the air conditioner and the microwave separately, of course. But that way when we go out, we can leave the AC running on battery for Spike, just maybe for an hour or two while we go into a restaurant and eat dinner or so. But that's the inverters. If you got any question about it, leave a message, leave a comment. Let me know if you use your inverter or not. I'd love to hear your side of the story. You know what your thoughts are on it. What you got, Deb?
I have a comment.
Yes, go ahead.
With my knowledge, I don't believe there are many campers that come with an inverter already wired in for you and installed. Is that correct?
True. Most campers are used by people that go to campgrounds, and they know they're gonna drive down the road for a day or two to get to the place. They're fine using the batteries to run their lights and their refrigerator. If they have a 12 volt refrigerator or maybe a propane refrigerator, so they're good with the batteries, and they don't really need an inverter. They get to a campground, they plug in, and now all their 110 outlets are working off of the pedestal or off of a generator. We can always plug in our generator, have a small 2500 watt generator, and with that I can not use the inverter. It just bypasses the inverter, and all my outlets are live. I can run the air conditioner, I can run the microwave off the power from the generator. But if you're not plugged in and you need power, the only other place is your batteries. And
so that's why in my estimation, that's why one of the good reasons we chose this one is because it was already wired.
Yes.
And we didn't have to wire it. Although it's a little bit smaller than ideal for us, it's not that bad. We've already been on one month-long trip in our other Geo Pro using a 100 watt lithium battery, and it was actually great. We like you said, we got up in the morning, just flipped on the inverter, then plugged in the coffee pot and made a smoothie then next, and you could even use a toaster.
Yeah, we have a toaster that'll run off of that.
We haven't used the Instapot yet.
But it's only 700 watts.
Yeah, so it'll work. So that was a big determining factor, or a big plus for the Geo Pros, that this was already wired, because if we do swap it out, it's still already wired. It's just a matter of swapping it out, right?
Well, you need bigger wires, though.
Oh, bigger wires?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
But that's no big deal. There's already a path for them.
Yes.
So we got that, and then what else was there about the... Oh, yeah. So anyway, having the inverter installed already adds a big plus for us. It just gives me time to spend more time getting other things done to the camper for us traveling.
So at Walmart or Cracker Barrel, we can make coffee. Of course, we would go into Cracker Barrel to have our coffee, but sometimes we have dinner at Cracker Barrel. So sometimes in the morning we want coffee, and we don't have to turn the generator on
just to make a cup of coffee.
Just to make a cup of coffee. You don't have to go outside.
Yeah.
see the world quite yet.
And I'll have a video showing my batteries. I'll have a video on the satellite dish that we got. It's a little tailgater, which is pretty cool.
It
And
is.
some other things that we've done to the camper so far to get it ready, like my little basket over there. I got a little black basket hanging there, and I got some little magnetic puck lights and just different little things,
Yeah,
just to make it kind of fun.
The TV's great in Key West because now y'all might think that we're out partying and drinking and carousing till late at night, but actually it got pretty dark in Key West on this last month-long trip we had a few weeks ago, and we found ourselves inside pretty early because we were there for a month. You can't be running around every night for a month.
Yeah,
so
because there's an old saying, go to Key West on vacation, come home on probation. You can do that if you go to too many bars, so we don't do that.
yeah,
But
so there was plenty of time to watch a little television.
But like
for
right now,
sure.
you can hear it's raining. We're in Georgia.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just miserable outside. And I would much rather be in Key West sitting in the camper right now.
Even if it's raining, because it did rain on us some, and it was very windy there for a while. So, yeah, we spent some time in the camper, and it was nice when we got to use that satellite.
Yep, so having an inverter, let us watch TV. So
Yeah, without running the generator. You don't want to run the generator in the rain, isn't that right?
No, I don't want to run in the rain.
Yeah, so 1,000-watt inverter is a big plus.
It's a big plus.
Makes it more like home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, if you got any questions, I'd love to hear. If you made it through this far into the video, give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and we'll see you on the road hopefully. So thanks for watching. Go out, see America. It's a great place to visit. It's a great place to travel. It's a great place to live. America is just a great place. Thanks everybody. Bye.